Hi guys, welcome to Tech Tips by MF. Recently, Anthropic has released Magnus Opus, which is one of the most advanced large language model available out there. It's not only a huge improvement over all their previous models, but what surprisingly though is managed to surpass all the popular large language models available out there that include OpenAI GPT-4 and Google Gemini. And when I went yesterday to check the LMSys chatbot area leaderboard, I found that Magnus Opus was actually one of the leading model, followed by OpenAI GPT-4 with Google Gemini in the third place. But now the real question is, are Claude 3 models really better than the OpenAI GPT-4 and Google Gemini Pro? Well, if you want a quantitative way of explaining that, let's just look into the benchmark. Claude 3 models comes into three different sizes: Haiku, Sonnet and Opus. Opus is one of their most advanced large language model, and it has demonstrated its competence by beating the OpenAI GPT-4 and Google Gemini Pro in almost every benchmark. So yes, the numbers look great, but are they really good in practice or not? Because as a user, at the end, I just want quicker, better and quality output. So why don't we just dive in and experience the difference ourselves? Now, number one is the text generation. Just like any other large language model available out there, Claude 3 Opus can also do content generation for you. It can write down email, product description, article, social media post, blog post, etc. And according to the benchmark, it does a better job than its competitors. Now, having said that, I wanted to put it into the practice. But because Claude 3 Opus is not yet available in the North America region, so I'm using a third-party tool which query the Opus model via the API. And when I ask all three models some different type of the questions, they all kind of perform very similar at the base level, and even GPT performed well in some cases. As an example, when I asked all three models to create an article that highlight the strategies to save the electricity bill, I found the response of the GPT much better than the other two. GPT even highlighted the amount of the electricity that I will save using the provided strategies. But I was really amazed with the Opus, because when I asked all three models to generate some nice brainstorming ideas for my YouTube channel name on data engineering, I found that the names generated by the Opus were much better as compared to the other two. Names that it generated like Data Engineering Essential, Data Engineering Mastery, Data Engineering 101 were more sounded like a human generated names as compared to the response of the GPT and the Google Gemini Pro, as they seemed more like an AI generated names. One thing I also found out that Opus is very good in following the instructions, as when I asked all three models to create a nice short summary of the Titanic plow, Opus did a good job. Not only it understood the requirements, it also generated a nice short summary as instructed. Now, number two is doing math. Opus fails with Gemini Ultra on the math benchmark, which means that Gemini Ultra is your best option if you want to do maths, or you can use some additional plugins in your GPT to do it. Now, just for fun, I asked all three models a trick question, and not only all three answered correctly, but Gemini understood that it's a trick question. Number third is the vision capabilities. Opus and Gemini Ultra have sophisticated high vision capabilities as compared to the other leading providers. They can now process the wide range of data in different visual formats, from images, pictures, charts, videos, etc. And this is a very good news for those organizations who are trying to build their own knowledge-based dashboards, where 50% of their, in fact more than 50% of their organization data is encoded in PDFs, PowerPoint, so they can now harness the power of these models to process the data from those unstructured documents. And now to test it, since I don't have access of the Anthropic UI, I tried to put a test between the GPT-4 and Google Gemini, and I was really amazed from the answers on the Google Gemini, because when I provided them an image to recognize the cartoon characters in the image, the results from the Gemini were astonishing. Gemini right away introduced the Tom and Jerry in the cartoons, whereas the GPT-4 also did a good job, but it couldn't recognize it. Now, it is possible that in GPT-4 it uses two models. It uses large language model, and then it uses a vision model, and then it transfers the information via some API, unlike to the other two models. Number four is writing code. Now, not only we have seen that Opus outperforms GPT and Google Gemini Ultra in almost every benchmark, but most notably, it performs much better when it comes to writing the human evaluated code. Even according to their benchmark, the smallest tiny model Haiku outperforms all the big model, something which I haven't tested yet, but it's true according to the number. So now let's see what happens when I ask all these models to create a Tkinter app for me using Python. Basically, I wanted to greet a user in the new console, and both GPT and Gemini didn't understand my requirements quite clearly and just printed the output on the terminal, whereas the output from Claude 3 Opus was on point. It understood my requirements. So from now on, Claude 3 Opus will actually be my go-to tool for the coding. Now, number 5th is your input-output variety. As we saw that Claude 3 Opus can analyze your visual and textual input, but it can only generate a textual output, whereas GPT and Google Gemini can produce an image as well based on your textual or visual input. So if you have an application that requires or that needs to produce an image, then Google Gemini or GPT will be a better choice as compared to the Claude 3 Opus model. Now, before we proceed further, I just want to tell you one of the amazing features of the Claude 3 family, that they come with a 200K context window as compared to the GPT-4, which comes with only 32K. And although they have an option of 128K context window, but the GPT-4 doesn't perform well at a very large window, and some of the information will be lost as compared to the Claude 3 family, which beside having a large context window, they also did a special test which is known as a needle in a haystack, where you try to dump all the information into a very large number of the document, and then you ask the model to retrieve that specific set of the lines from that document. So when they did this test using the Claude 3 family, the Claude 3 Opus model nailed it by getting the right answers more than 99% of the time. Not only the Opus model answered the question correctly, but it also understood that it's a trick question and was put there deliberately to see if the model can answer or if it can pay attention. For me, it's an amazing feature because you have a now very large context window for a very large and powerful model. However, there are some limitations, like they cannot generate images, they cannot process video and audio inputs, they lack plugin support, and they cannot connect to the internet for any latest information. Now, to sum up, below are my thoughts. For content creation, I prefer GPT-4 output, so I may use that. However, for brainstorming and generating ideas, Claude 3 Opus would be my top choice. Also for coding, I'll exclusively rely on Opus moving forward. For unstructured documents like images or PDF, I would go to Google Gemini Ultra because of better accuracy. So for now, I'm planning to use all for the different use cases we just discussed, and we'll do some more tests because each excel in different areas. Now, if you are as amazed as I am, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more tech insights, and do mention in the comment section what model would you use and why. Thank you guys for watching all the way to the end. I'll see you next time.